This is episode number 5 of the Everything and Nothing podcast. It is currently October 1st. Wow, month's going by fast. A lot of stuff happened this week. First, I just want to talk about the death of Jose Fernandez. I woke up real early on, Sunday, and I just saw it on social media, and it just hit me. Like, he was 24. He was one of the best pitchers. He's still up for Cy Young, and he probably will win it now. But his stuff was just incredible. It was just so sad to hear. And then the next day, D. Gordon just hitting the home run after wearing his helmet, batting from the right side, and then switching over and hitting the home run. He said he never hit a ball that far, even in batting practice. That shit's just crazy. It's very sad, and it's just sad is what it is. He was a great player, great guy, always smiled on the field, always played hard and played the right way. And then later that day, golf legend Arnold Palmer died. So just a sad day last week. I'm not a big golf fan at all, but Arnold Palmer was one of the greatest, and I drink Arnold Palmers all the time. So, pour one out for you next time. Alright, let's stop talking about sad stuff. Let's move on to football. Last week I went 9-7, so decent. The games I got wrong, if I could find them. I got the Texans-Pats that I already talked about. I got Cards and Bills wrong. I did not think the Cardinals would be this bad. They're playing like shit. Giants, Redskins, I'm going to go in depth a little bit. Actually, no, it's just going to piss me off. But main reasons, the Giants should have won that game. The main reasons why they didn't were 2 huge penalties by just stupid mistakes. One guy, I believe his name was Adams or something, we had a great punt or something, and he just tackles the guy out of bounds, nowhere near the ball. It was just so bad. Or they were punting to us, and then they got a first down because this fucking idiot. And then Olivier Vernon, what was it? It was he hit the quarterback in the face, so it was roughing the passer when we should have stopped him. So just stupid things like that cost the Giants the game. Next one I got wrong. Vikings beat the Panthers. Vikings are pretty good. So Panthers are also struggling. So I don't know how the rest of the season is going to play out for them. I picked the Bucks over the Rams. Bucks are struggling. Didn't see that coming. Rams are playing pretty well. Bounced back from a shitty week 1. And then the Steelers just getting destroyed by the Eagles. It's week 3, but the Eagles are real. They're for real. Steelers are no joke. And then the Saints-Falcons. I knew that game would be like a shootout, but Falcons ended up beating the Saints. Alright, so this week, starting off, I got Colts over the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are going to lose, and I think they need to fire somebody pretty quickly after that loss, whether it's the coach or the general manager, but that team is just bad on all cylinders right now, and they shouldn't be. I have Texans over Titans. I think the Texans will get back on track. Redskins over Browns. But the Browns, though, Terrell Pryor Sr. is actually playing pretty well. He's playing like a couple snaps at QB and a lot of snaps at wide receiver. He's an athlete, so he's doing pretty good. Seahawks at Jets. I'm gonna pick the Seahawks. Ryan Fitzpatrick had 6 interceptions last game, which is laughable, especially when you consider the whole Fitzpatrick debacle that happened this offseason. I guess that's why they probably didn't take him out. They're like, well, we're fucking paying this guy, so we might as well let him suffer for holding out. The Pats over the Bills. I actually don't know who's playing quarterback for the Patriots at this moment, and I don't care because it doesn't matter for my opinion, or for my pick, I mean. Panthers over Falcons. I think the Panthers they got to start winning again. That'll get them back to 2-2. Raiders over Ravens. I think the Ravens will start slowing down. Pick of the Raiders. They're a good team. I think they can stop the Ravens. I don't think it'll be a close game, though. Lions over Bears. Bears, they could be the worst team in the NFL. Broncos over Bucks. Bucks are playing bad, so I don't want to pick them again. And Broncos are playing phenomenal. Cardinals over Rams. I think the Rams are just going to be inconsistent all year and go about 8-8. So I'm going to have the Cardinals. This is a big game for the Cardinals. If they lose, their playoff hopes are already diminishing. Saints over Chargers. If the Saints lose this game, they need to start firing some people. I don't know if it's Sean Payton, an offensive coordinator, or defensive coordinator. Probably the defensive coordinator. I don't know. I don't think he's been there that long though. So something needs to change in the Saints. They shouldn't be an 0-4 team. Cowboys over 49ers. So self-explanatory. Chiefs over Steelers. At the Sunday night game, Steelers look bad, and I think the Chiefs will play them good. It's a toss-up, but I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I'm going to pick the Giants over the Vikings, and yes, I may just be a Giants fan, but Giants play good teams well, and I think this is a big game. It's a Monday night game, and I think that the Giants are going to come out hot and win by like a field goal or a last-minute touchdown. I hate when my team plays on Monday nights. I hate the Monday night games. Besides guaranteed getting it on TV, it's just like I feel like football's over Sunday night, so Monday is just like whatever. Thursday's like sweet. It's starting early. You get a game, all right, and then Sunday it's just an all-day thing. You're just watching football all day, and then Monday you get home from work, whatever, and then oh shit, my team's playing right now. And then next Thursday I'm gonna pick Cardinals over 49ers. I think even if the Cardinals lose this week, who did I say they beat? Over the Rams. Even if they lose, I think that they can still beat the 49ers. All right. I haven't talked about it yet on the podcast, but I will now. College football. I'm an LSU fan for no reason. Just started watching them 1 year, and I liked their colors, I guess. I liked Death Valley. I thought the whole aspect of LSU was sick. So I started liking them. Right now they're awful. They already have 2 losses. Their season's done. They fired Les Miles, which I'm upset about, but it needed to be done. I think LSU, they need so badly to recruit a good quarterback. They never have good quarterbacks. They have great players come through their systems. Odell, Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, Jeremy Hill, Jarvis Landry. And that's just in the last few years. And they just don't have quarterbacks. So they don't win. They can't win tough games. They're never going to beat Bama. Bama has the same amount of good skill players as LSU, and if not more, with a decent quarterback. LSU's quarterbacks are usually pretty bad. Harris started off awful, cost us week 1, and then the rest of them just aren't playing well. They got great players, and Key is a great defensive end. He's going to be a monster. Leonard Fournette is the best running back in college football, so it's a shame that he's not going to be on a good team, because I'm sure he'll be in the draft next year. All right, MLB. Yankees are officially eliminated. They made it down to the last series, so thank them for that, for making it interesting. I just want to talk about the season overall. They started off with a horrendous 9-17 first month or whatever. I don't know how many games it was, what the record was, but they were well under 500 in the first month, and they were playing catch up ever since. And they played really well throughout the most of the season. They started winning. They got a good winning streak or whatever. And as the deadline came, it's like, well, are we buyers or sellers? Buyers or sellers? Well, we're going to sell, but we're going to still compete, is what they ended up doing. They traded away Chapman, and we got a good deal for that. And we can still get Chapman back next year. We got a good deal with Chapman. That was fine. We're like, okay, we'll still keep Miller. Beltran's going to stay here, and we're going to fight. We get swept by the Rays out of all teams. And we sell Miller, got a great deal for that, and we sold Beltran and got a great deal for that. So, okay, playing for next year. But then the baby bombers start coming up. Judge, Austin, and they started off hot. They didn't end up playing great, but guys like Castro and Didi, they continued to play awesome. Tanaka was unhittable, and Gary Sanchez, as I had stated, I think 2 weeks ago, he should be if he's not rookie of the year, it's kind of bullshit. The Tigers pitcher, yeah, he's pretty good, but he's not phenomenal. I think Sanchez is so good. And I don't, and he literally has carried this Yankees team, which is unheard of. That he's just a rookie coming up, carrying the Yankees, and almost making the playoffs. If he came up earlier, who knows? We might still be in it. So yeah, next year's looking decent. We need to get some starting pitchers. We're gonna have Greg Bird at first. We're gonna have Castro, Didi. I guess Headley's still at third. Torreyes is also another good piece. If Headley were to go, Torreyes would be, I think, an everyday player, and I wouldn't be upset with that. We got McCann still. I don't know if he's a free agent yet or if we're looking to deal him, but if he and Sanchez split catching and DH, that's fine. And then the outfield, we still got Gardner and Ellsbury, and then Judge. Gardner and Ellsbury did well. They didn't do bad. And then Judge, I think after a good offseason, he'll pick it up, I'm sure. And then the two starting pitchers that are on the market for next year that I would be interested in the Yankees getting would be Hisashi Iwakuma. I wanted him last time he was a free agent. Didn't happen. He stayed with Seattle. And then Kenley Jansen on the Dodgers. I'm not sure what the situations are with them, but besides those two, not really a great free agent pool. But the next year, 2018, is when Harper and Machado are free agents, so who knows? As the wild card goes, the Blue Jays may blow it. They are half a game above Detroit with 2 games left, and they're playing the Red Sox, who just keep winning. And the Tigers are playing the Indians, who they beat, and then they got delayed, so I think they got postponed, so I think they still have 3 games left, so it may come down to the last day. But I don't like the Tigers one bit, but I would like them a lot more if they beat the Blue Jays for the second wildcard spot. Orioles are still shocking me every day. I still think they're not that good, but they are, so I'm wrong. And to go back, the Red Sox clinched while they were still playing the Yankees. Yankees had this awesome comeback. Mark Teixeira hit a grand slam to walk off and spoil the Red Sox. So it was the first time in history Red Sox and Yankees were both celebrating after a game they played each other. It was funny. I hope Mark Teixeira doesn't hit another home run. I wouldn't even play him the last series, even though he played yesterday. But that's a good way for Tex to go out. I like Tex. He's a good dude. Just not the best. He knows his body let him down, and I'm glad he's walking away before it got really bad. All right, moving on to wrestling. Quickly going to talk about TNA before I move on to Clash of Champions. I got asked by Pico, my good buddy, what he thinks. What he wants to know what my thoughts are on what's next for TNA, and I really don't know. I really don't think they're gonna get sold to WWE, but it looks like closer and closer every day. I don't really want WWE to buy it just because there's no point. I guess they're gonna buy it for all the videos and matches and stuff they can put on the network, which would be cool. But I have no interest in most TNA guys coming over to WWE. Most of them are past WWE guys anyway, so if they were to do some invasion storyline again, which I don't think they would or should, it'll be more returns than invasions. I feel bad for the TNA guys. I hope EC3 would come over and actually do something. Lashley, I honestly don't care about. Kurt Angle, I don't even think he's still in TNA. I want him to come back to WWE. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, I think, would do good stuff in WWE. Besides that, I don't know or care anymore about TNA. Actually, Galloway, I guess, is still in TNA. He's pretty good. He would be cool to come back to WWE and actually be a good heel. If not, he's still doing great things in Evolve. And speaking of Evolve, I didn't actually write this down, but I want to talk about Evolve. I know it happened weeks ago, But Gargano's farewell tour, I guess, farewell matches in Evolve. I watched the mini documentaries on him that are on YouTube. You guys should check them out. They're actually really good. And then I watched his last moments in Evolve. It was him and Cody were in a tag match. They won, I think. And then Cody says three things, and he's like, "The ring's yours, please. Thank you for everything." Blah blah blah. Cody leaves, and then it's Gargano. He does this little funny thing where he go walk away. The crowd will boo. He walks back to the mic. The crowd cheers. And it was a booyah thing for a while. And then he picks up the mic, and then Ethan Page runs out and attacks him. And then he lays him out, and he says, "Anyone else want to come out?" And then Drew Galloway and I forget the other guy who comes out, Dustin, I think his name is. Funny, he was actually, I think he was in Johnny Gargano's wedding party. But storyline wise, they try to beat up Jericho, and then the bro, Matt Riddle, who me and Matt, my brother, saw one match of him, and we became fans. That guy's awesome. And then, so Galloway thinks he's going to help him, and then he turns on him, obviously, and then he helps up Gargano, and Gargano says, "I've been looking for somebody to carry this company when I'm gone, and I think I found it, bro." He hands the mic to Riddle. He leaves, and then Riddle just says, "Evolve just got bro." And I just thought that is the coolest way for Gargano to go out. It helps Evolve. It helps Riddle. And it just makes everyone look like $1,000,000. Yes, he could have had this heartfelt goodbye speech, and it would have been really sad and awesome. But Gargano is smarter than that. He knows. He even says in the DVDs, he knows he's got to, there's other guys he doesn't want to take spots away from. And he knows that guys like Riddle can grow from him being gone. And he literally just puts over Riddle, puts over the company, and doesn't take any of the spotlight for him. So I thought that was fucking amazing. Good for Johnny Gargano. I'm so happy now he's doing great in WWE. And the Dusty Classic, where Gargano started in NXT, is coming back, thank God. It's starting next week. They haven't even announced all the teams, I don't think, but some teams to look out for. Perfectly Glorious, Dillinger and Rude. That's so good. That is such a good team. I don't know if they're making Rude a face, but he kind of begged Ty Dillinger to be partners. But even if he's a face, it still works because everyone loves Rude. So that's a great team. Ibushi and Itami, that's phenomenal. The Revival, obviously. I don't know if they're going to win, if they're going to do it again where they have the champs lose, because last time they had the Vaudevillains lose when they were, or Blake and Murphy lose when they were champs. I don't remember who was champ at the time, but they lost to the Revival. The Revival would win, and I wouldn't say a thing because they deserve it. And then there's a couple Tino Sabatelli has a he's part of a team. Good for him. He's worked his ass off. And then Almas and Cedric, I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have done Cedric and Swan, but I don't know, give Almas something to do, get him more over. But that should be a great. I think they should outdo the Dusty Classic from last year. All right, now on to Clash of Champions. First, to start off, and full disclaimer, I was kind of falling asleep while watching. I didn't watch it live, and I tried to watch it before watching Raw, so a lot of it I did while I was kind of half asleep. But anyway, New Day beats the Club to start, and I like that. I love that. Everyone had the Club winning, including myself, and it was unpredictable, and the New Day retained. I think that's cool. People are bitching about the New Day. Oh, it's so old. It's so old. People have such a short attention span when it comes to liking people. It's you do something for a couple weeks, and then it's old. Stone Cold and The Rock came out every week and basically said the same thing all the time, and they're amazing because the shit they're saying is still cool. New Day adapts to what's going on in pop culture and social media and all that, so they're staying relevant. People just need to relax. The Club has been in the WWE for a minute. They're gonna win the tag titles eventually. They're not getting buried. They're losing to a 400-day champions. That's no shame in that. So people need to relax. The club will get their time. They're in the main storyline. They're not getting buried. Wins and losses don't mean, if you lose, it doesn't mean you're getting buried. All right? If you're losing to Zack Ryder on Superstars, yeah, okay, you're getting a little buried. But if you're losing to a tag team, you're losing to a tag team that has been champions for 400 days, and you're on the main card of a pay-per-view, and you're in a main storyline, and it's gotten months of build, you're not getting buried. They're fine. Next match is Perkins and Kendrick. This was decent. I expected more. They didn't seem like they were in sync as well as they should be. They botched a little, but I like that the feud's going to continue. Kendrick headbutted Perkins at the end of the match or after the match, so that'll continue. And a lot of people are cheering for Kendrick, and I don't think Perkins is getting over as much. Perkins is doing too much. I'm just happy to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity. He needs to be like, I'm the best. Like, I'm fucking champ. I won the CWC. But Perkins is awesome. I love him, so I hope he keeps the title for a little while. Next was arguably match of the night. Cesaro and Sheamus ending in a no contest. By the way, overall in my predictions, I went 4 for 7. Not including this match because it was a no contest. It started off like every other match they've had for the best of 7, and then it really picked up and it shocked the hell out of me. They had just a lot of cool spots. The match went on, got a lot of time, and I was happy it did. And now nobody wins in their tag team, and I think that's cool. I still think they deserve world title shots. But you can't really have Sheamus versus Owens, and Cesaro versus Owens would have been cool. But they don't want to. They want to put over both these guys, and I'm all for that. I don't know if they're going to beat New Day or if they're going to face jobbers for a couple weeks, build them up, maybe turn Sheamus face, which I'm all for. People have been shitting on Sheamus too long. He's too good for people to shit on him, and not just boo him because he's a heel, just boo him because they think he's actually bad. If that's the case, that's just false. Sheamus is very good. So I'm okay with them being a tag team for now. Let's see where it takes them. I'm sure Sheamus will turn on Cesaro eventually. I wonder if they'll actually win the tag titles, though. Next match, Jericho versus Zayn. I should have picked Jericho. I knew deep down in my heart Jericho was going to win. I went with Zayn, though. It was a good match. But people, again, bitching Zayn gets buried. In this case, kind of. He won the feud with Owens, and then they kind of were just like, whatever. That doesn't count. But I like when Jericho wins. People get so mad when Jericho wins. You can't just have a guy come in and lose every match. A credible guy like Jericho lose every match. It's like what I say about John Cena. You can't have John Cena lose every time you want John Cena to lose. If he lost to Rusev, if he lost to Bray Wyatt, if Cena lost to Kali, Umaga, if he lost to all those guys, when a guy like AJ Styles and Kevin Owens beats him, it means nothing. It's like, oh, John always loses. It's like, yeah, John's John, but he's lost to everyone. If we wanted him to lose to everybody, then it wouldn't mean anything anymore. So him beating guys like that, like Rusev, like Bray, it helps when AJ and Owens come along, and it actually means something when John puts someone over, because he is the best. You don't see the Warriors losing to everyone because it makes good television. I know it's not fake, but I'm just saying that, like, when the Warriors lose, it's like, oh shit, Warriors lost. Pretty bad analogy, but it's the best I could come up with on the spot. But yeah, Jericho wins, so I like Jericho winning. I love what he's doing with Owens. I like that he's a top guy. Next was Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley. It was good, but it wasn't what I expected. Wasn't great. And the only really thing I have to say is whatever. Charlotte retained. It's smart. I don't want the title bouncing from woman to woman. It needs to mean something, and so Charlotte's gonna have a decent run, I bet. But just Dana Brooke is the worst. Get her out of this storyline. Get her off television. Send her to NXT and just make her become better. She's not good. She messes up every opportunity she has. She can't put Charlotte's foot on the rope. She can't take a hit in time. She's late to this. She's early to that. She's just so bad. I don't hate many wrestlers. There's been a few I've hated in the past. I hated Mark Henry for a while before he did the whole retirement thing. I can't even, like, R-Truth, I think I hated at one point before he started doing all of his comedy stuff. His heel comedy stuff. And Dana Brooke is just one person I can't stand. Just can't stand it. Next, Reigns versus Rusev. They had a pretty good match, and then they had another really good match on Raw. I think Reigns as champ works for the company. I think it's good. I think he's going to hold the title for a while. And people are going to bitch because they hate Roman Reigns, but hopefully they realize he's in the mid-card. He's not a main eventer right now, and he's still good enough to be a champion. So people need to relax on Reigns as well. And next, the main event, Owens vs. Rollins. It was good, but predictable. The only shocking part was Triple H didn't show up. He did the thing in the limo or in the car afterwards. How was the show, honey? But besides that, I thought Triple H was going to screw Rollins and set up something for Hell in a Cell. I'm sure that'll happen eventually. Jericho helping, that was awesome because everything Jericho and Owens do together is hilarious. Jericho made the referee raise his hand with Owens, and then the meme is like the referee looking like, what the fuck? But that shit's just hilarious. It was a good match, but again, predictable. So overall, it was a good show. Nothing great. Backlash was way better. All right, I got a question from my good friend Brian, Bro Neil, as we call him. He wanted me to talk about who I like and who I don't like in the game Until Dawn. I showed him this game we played in college last year. It was a lot of fun. I first saw the game on Up Up Down Down, which for those of you who don't know what that is, that's Xavier Woods' YouTube channel. Xavier Woods is a wrestler. Goes by Austin Creed on the channel. It's just a whole thing you gotta get used to. But he plays video games, gets wrestlers on the show, and they play games against each other, and it's like a big thing, and it's really funny, and it's really fun to watch. So besides that, I saw him do a walkthrough of Up Up Down Down, and I thought this game was awesome. It's a game where you determine the outcome by what you do in the game. It's like one of those books where it's like, do I want to go into the cave, turn to page 67, or go back home, turn to page 11? It's like those, but it's a murder game, so there's 7 characters. There's 8 characters, and all of them can live, all of them can die, and any combination in between. So that's really cool. So I'm just going to go through the characters and give my thoughts on them. First, there's Sam, who is played by Hayden Panettiere. And all the characters are voiced and look like who they are voiced by. This one's Hayden Panettiere. She's cool. There's no reason to dislike her. She's hot, so she's a video game character, but it's Hayden Panettiere. There's no reason to hate Sam. She was always cool and kind of the voice of reason. Then there was Mike, who was just, in air quotes, the cool dude. Gets the girls. Just kind of douchey, but still kind of likable. There's Chris, who is the best character. He's just goofy. The most relatable to me personally, at least. I just found myself liking him the most. Tries to get a girl, doesn't get a girl, kind of gets a girl. It's just he's just the best, and he's the most witty. Next is Ashley. She's just like the most normal girl, not like overly sexual or anything. She's just cool, and then so there's no reason to dislike her unless you piss her off. Then you have to play the game to see what happens if you piss her off. Next, Josh. He's the main character from Mr. Robot. The main story is the prequel to it, like you see in the beginning of the game when you play. The year before, Josh's 2 sisters, or one of them gets pranked and she runs away. Then the twin sister follows her, and then they both die. And then it becomes a big thing, like how they die, blah, blah, blah. But Josh is their brother. He's just messed up from it. He wants to get everyone back together in the same place where they died, because they do it every year. and everyone's skeptical, but Josh is like, I need this, blah, blah, blah. So he's just like, you feel bad for him. And then there's Emily, huge bitch, fuck that girl. She's just the worst. That's all I have to say. And then Matt, Emily's boyfriend, you want to like Matt, but he's such a huge fucking pussy that it's hard to like him. And then lastly, there's Jessica. She's with Mike, and she's just like kind of slutty, and there's no real substance to her. But yeah, Until Dawn is unreal. I would definitely get it. It's cheap now. It's very cheap now. It's like $20. So definitely get that. The game has tons of backstory and tons of outcomes, so I think that's why it's really fun. All right, I have a new idea for this show, or for this podcast, I should say. I'm going to get on my phone, go to iTunes, and shuffle my songs. I'll do like 6, 7 songs, and when the song comes on, I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'm going to tell you a memory that I have with the song, because every time I put on my iPod, another song comes on, it just makes me think of something. That's why music's so good. It brings back memories and stuff, so I want you guys to know a little bit more about me, a little bit more about my taste in music, and I'll share some stories of what it reminds me of. And I suggest that you guys should do the same. Maybe write a song or two in the comments and what it makes you think of. All right, I'll turn my volume down so you don't hear it for copyright reasons. But here we go. All right, first song is "Turn Me On" by Kevin Little. That kind of reminds me of college. It was one of my friend's walk-up songs in baseball, so we would always play it when he would come over. Shout out to Kyle Hood. Next song, "Make Damn Sure," Taking Back Sunday. That just reminds me of middle school, back when I had long hair and I thought I was a rocker. But no, it's a great song. All these songs are probably great songs because they're on my iPod. But I suggest, if you haven't heard any of them, take a listen. Next one, we got "Riot" by 3 Days Grace. That's another one from just like a middle school song. "So Cold" by Breaking Benjamin. This one reminds me of my brother Matt, because every time we would drive in my car and we'd listen to my music, a Breaking Benjamin song would come on, and he would just go, "Oh, you're so cold," because he's like, that's their only song. And then fast forward months later, Matt's like the biggest Breaking Benjamin fan. So I think that's funny. Next one, oh, this one makes me tear up a little. "What Do You Mean" by Justin Bieber. Now here's the story. So I'm moving in, first day of senior year. I get there a couple days early before classes start, before everyone really moves in, and my roommates are all there because they do some other stuff that they were allowed back early. So I come up, I move my stuff and whatever, and as soon as I remember it. I'm sure it didn't actually happen this way, but I remember it as I walk in the door, bags in my hand, just carrying a bunch of stuff. Finally put it down, and I look at Greg, and Greg's like, "What's up, dude? Have you heard Justin Bieber's new song?" And it makes me laugh. I'm sure it didn't happen exactly that way, but we listened to that song like 1,000 times that day, and like 1,000,000 times that month, and like 4 billion times that year. So that's what it reminded me of. Another Justin Bieber song came on after it. "We Are" featuring Nas. I think that's actually a pretty dope song. That whole album just reminds me of senior year. Next is "Wild and Young" by American Bang. Throwback NXT Season 1. That's all it reminds me of. Another college song, "The Boys Are Back," Dropkick Murphys. Dropkick Murphys are big in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, so we'd always play that too. We'd come back from break and just blast it, or the weekend would start, "The Boys Are Back," shotgun and drinks. "Ghost" by Kid Cudi. Most Kid Cudi songs remind me of Ben, one of my best friends from home, because Kid Cudi's awesome and we love him. But "Ghost" also reminds me of Greg again, because we bonded over that song one night, and the rest is history. Another Breaking Benjamin song. And lastly, wow, this is crazy. I love rock and roll, Joan Jett. Um, Another song that reminds me of senior year of college. We would. This is a funny story. Everyone's gonna think we're huge tools or think it's hilarious. We would, like I said before, we'd shotgun. And if you don't know what shotgunning is, it's when you poke a hole in the bottom of the drink. I say drink because most people do beer. I would do twisted teas because again I hate beer. But you poke a hole in the bottom of the can, you put it to your mouth, and then you open the top, like you put the lid off, and then you just chug it, and you can drink it pretty quickly. Um, and we would do tournaments of this. We'd all drink, we'd all shotgun, and we'd have a timer. And as soon as you crack it, it'd be on the crack, and then you'd hit the timer, and then we would all time it. So the first round was a time trial, and that would seed us. And we do 20 minutes later, boom, shotgun again. The 1 seed versus the 8 seed, or however many people there were. One person would get a bye, and then 2 and 7, and whatever. We'd go just 20 minutes later, and then at the end of the time, whoever came in first, second, probably third and fourth too, we're feeling it. It's a good way to get drunk. It's really fun. And so anyway, back to the song. Every time we do it, we'd have walk-up songs because we thought it was funny and we thought it was cool. Greg's was "I Love Rock and Roll," and so that's what that reminds me of. God damn, there are just so many songs coming up reminding me of last year. Middle, DJ Snake. That was just an Ocho banger. Um, the Ocho, for everyone, because I'm sure most people don't know what it is. In Franklin Pierce, there's houses for seniors, and they're all numbered. We lived in 8. We called it the Ocho. Um, and there was just a lot of songs we bump frequently, and Middle was definitely one of them. Clarity by Zed. That reminds me of Prem Man. We jammed to this all the time. And when we weren't together, every time it would come on, we'd Snapchat it to each other because we love each other. Green Day, Wake Me Up When September Ends. American Idiot's probably the best album of my childhood. I owned it. I listened to it all the time. Just middle school. Um, just That's just what it reminds me. It just reminds me of middle school. Still love that album. Green Day's awesome. They're coming out with a new album very soon. You're gonna have to check it out. Empire State of Mind, Jay-Z. This reminds me of the Yankees winning the World Series in 2009. Uh, I was at Game 2 when Jay-Z performed that song. So that's what that reminds me of. Boogie, Oh My. It's Oh My by Boogie. Evan, my friend Evan, just recently showed me this song, I think over the summer, and it's a jam. I listened to it a bunch. Definitely check it out. Lost and Found by Census Fail. Census Fail was my favorite band for like all of high school, I guess. Most of high school, at least freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, probably. Just 2 or 3 amazing albums they put out. If you like hardcore rock, like basically metal, they're not metal. I don't even know what to call them. They're just hardcore rock, I guess. Um, yeah, listen to them. They're pretty good. Heads Will Roll remix. That just reminds me of um, Project X. Soul to Squeeze, Chili Peppers doesn't really remind me of much, but great fucking song. Jukebox Hero, Foreigner. Um, it reminds me of when I saw them live at Alive at Five in Stanford. They actually put on a fucking great show. Surf Wax America by Weezer reminds me of when I saw Weezer live um, at what was it called, in Bridgeport. Vibes. They didn't actually have it last year. I was upset because I went the year before for Weezer, and it was the first time I went. My friends go all the time. It's a sweet festival. But yeah, we Prem, who I mentioned earlier, let's just say he wasn't sober, and he kept calling Weezer Woozer, and he thought it was hilarious. So now that's like the big joke of for Weezer. That's what we call him Woozer now. All right, I'll do one more song. All right, and boom. Two Phones, Kevin Gates, another Ocho banger. Shout out to Kyle LaFlame. Wouldn't stop playing Two Phones when he first heard it. So Two Phones reminds me of LaFlame. All right, so there we have it. That's the song game. I might do that regularly because that was really fun. And if it sucked to listen to, then just tell me and I'll stop. But yeah, I'm already at 40 minutes this week. So I'm going to wrap things up with a question from my good friend James B. Terry, ESPN Radio's finest. No, he's not on the radio. He works for ESPN Radio. But he wants to know why you can't run by a pool. And James, I think it's simple, because idiots like us would get drunk and run by pools and slip, fall, and die, or slip, fall, and get hurt, and it just, the people don't want to get sued at the pool, so you just can't run. It's wet. It's very wet, and wet means slippery, and slippery means falling, and falling means injuries. Now, you can run all you want at ESPN, I'm sure, but when you get to a pool, just walk. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to take a little longer to get where you want, but it'll save you your life. And you can't put a price on life unless it's $1 million. So thank you for listening to episode 5. This is a really good episode, I think. Let me know what your thoughts. Again, tweet me or comment what you want me to talk about. I love discussing topics that I can't think of that you guys always think of. It brings a good dynamic to this show. Lets you know more about me. I want to know more about you guys. I'm going to stop rambling. And I promise I'm going to do this week. I'm doing the how fast can I eat the double-double from In-N-Out Burger. I'm going to do it this week. I just got to figure out a way to film it so I can get the time right. Once I figure that out, it'll be up. Thanks again for listening, and subscribe if you haven't.